what happens to Bitcoin? The price of Bitcoin, does it plummet?
Bitcoin could crash before that happens. I mean, I don't know what the pin is.
I don't.
To prick the bubble.
By the way, to all our listeners, I should say, like, I'm a peasant in this room when it comes to like knowledge of cryptocurrency and blockchain. But I don't see any other event that big that would plummet Bitcoin other than some sort of government federal regulation.
Happened before without any kind of
I'm talking
change.
about a like.
Well, we saw it happen multiple times where you had 40 to 50% drops.
I know
we're just
so much bigger,
drops.
but we're so much weird.
Yeah,
Bitcoin's so much bigger now
Correct.
than it was. Like,
Correct.
you know, the higher you are, the more there is to fall.
Well, remember, you know, when it went up to 20,000 the first time, right? People were saying, oh, the big volatility of the past is gone. You know, we're not, now that it's, you know, so mainstream and now that it's so high, you don't have to worry. And then it went from 20,000 to 3,000, right? So it has these big 80% drops. And then, you know, it went up to 65,000. And then a couple of weeks later, it was back down below 40,000. I mean, now it got pumped back up again. But the idea that, hey, you just have to accept this kind of volatility as par for the course, Bitcoin can easily drop 80%, you know, in the next week. Yeah. And then there's no guarantee it's going to come back. It could drop another 80% and then another 80%. People just look back and say, well, every time Bitcoin has gone down, it's come back. It's only been around for 10 years.
There's no historical data. And listen, my belief on it too, just to add on to it, is that there may be even more risk now because you have whale holders that are industrial buyers. And more than anything, you have these absolutely insanely leveraged positions on cryptocurrencies that a 30 or 30% drop could liquidate a mass portion of these leveraged holders.
There are a lot of people who have big gains in Bitcoin. They have been reluctant to realize those gains. A, they don't want to pay the tax.
Correct.
And B, they're afraid of missing out on future appreciation. So what they've done is they've borrowed against that Bitcoin. But, you know, if the price starts to drop, they get a margin call. They don't have the cash. Their Bitcoin just gets sold into a vacuum because you get these forced selling when there's not a lot of buyers, and then the market starts to implode, and that triggers more margin calls as the price goes lower and lower. So I think there's a lot more vulnerability now in the market. I think some of these institutions that have gone in, you know, these guys are not hodlers. Like, they're not in forever, right? They're in it as a trade. Yep. So they got in, they want to jump on a bandwagon and make some money, but they have trader mentalities. They will cut and run. If they see a big break and they want out of that trade, they'll take a 20, 30% loss and they'll move on.
We've seen it.
They're not going to go down with the ship because they're not, you know, like religious fanatics about Bitcoin. They only saw it as a way to make some quick money. And if all of a sudden they see they're losing money and the trend is turned, they'll get out. And one thing, ironically, that could do it would be a big move up in gold. Because one of the reasons that Bitcoin has gotten so popular, Bitcoin started in about, 2011, right? Gold at 2011 hit 1900. And over the last 10 years, you know, gold's 1800. So gold's gone nowhere. Mm-hmm. And Bitcoin's gone from nothing, pennies, to 60,000, right? And so everybody wants to compare gold to Bitcoin. In fact, when they, you know, represent Bitcoin in a physical form, even though it has no physical form, they make a coin, they make it gold, they make it look like gold. It's counterfeit gold, right? It's fool's gold because it has none of the properties that gold has. It's not an actual metal. You can't conduct electricity with it. You can't make jewelry out of it. You can't, you know, put it inside a filling, or you can't use it in aerospace. I mean, gold is the most useful, valuable metal on the periodic table. And Bitcoin doesn't have any of those characteristics.
But it looks like it.
But they pretend that it's gold.
No. There's some guy got in trouble for selling these on the street because it's a little gold Bitcoin is a B with like money signs through it.
Usually it has like lasers shooting at like data.
It helps. Again, human race, very simple species, and it's hard to imagine this cryptocurrency floating around in the ether because that's kind of all it is. So putting something physical to it helps us.
But also they want you to think you're buying gold. That's why they say they have Bitcoin miners. Nobody's mining Bitcoin. They're solving math problems.
Wait, you're telling me there's no guy with a pickaxe and a helmet on? Stop.
But they want to act like it's gold. That was like part of the con. But over the last decade, where Bitcoin has been on the scene, gold has been going sideways. And that's enabled the Bitcoiners to say, you see, this is better than gold. It's the new gold. It's gold 2.0. Gold's not going anywhere. Well, what they forget is that the 10 years before Bitcoin came on the scene, gold went from under 300 to 1900
so
in 10
true.
years.
That's
so
right.
gold had this huge move.
And has it done that kind of parabolic move historically at other times?
The only time you really saw that big a move was, let's say, in the 70s.
Got it.
You know, but we had a big move, and now we consolidated for a while. And, you know, remember, people during the last 10 years, you had a big boom in the stock market. Everybody was risk taking. Everybody wanted a big return. Gold is a safe haven. It's a store of value. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a, I don't want to go broke. It's if you're rich and you want to stay rich, you buy gold. It's not about getting rich.
Yep.
And so when you have this 10-year period of consolidation, now all of a sudden Bitcoin has the spotlight. But I think gold now is getting ready to break out of this phase. I think gold's going to have another big move similar to the one it had from 2001 to 2011, where it could go up 5x, 10x, right? A big move. And when that happens, all of a sudden you destroy the reason for Bitcoin, because now real gold is going up. So why settle for a cheap imitation?